this week's top five is top five perfect songs, in our opinion. So, which has been very interesting because I wanted to do this top five because getting more or back into music again. So I've just, of course, some of the songs on, that you listen to and some of the most top rated songs are like they have their hiccups, they have the little things that you don't like if there's the aspect. But I think overall, musically, these top five songs like are perfect, and there's nothing lyrically, musically, instrumental, whatever have you, that you could fix because it's just executed so well. How did you approach your top five?
It was difficult. It was
Yeah,
difficult. I mean, picking them, I could literally list 100 of them. There's so many songs that I think are like so well done, and like yeah. What I was shocked about is that neither one of us has perfect on our list of perfect songs. Like
yeah,
what? That's a great song. Perfect is a
yeah.
great song. I don't know how we didn't put perfect on a list about perfect songs, but sorry, Ed. We'll get you next time, buddy. Like,
There it is.
but yeah,
There
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah, dude, it was tough. It was tough. I literally, like I said, I could just. There's so many people, Fleetwood Mac and Barry Manilow and the Bengals and just like ABBA and like I could span decades of people that I think had perfect songs. So I don't know.
Right.
I just went with it. I just tried to pick something that I like always gravitate to, or if I hear it, I'll listen to it and jam out to it. So
For sure, man. For sure. Number five for me goes to All of Me by John Legend. Not only was this Emily and I's first dance as a married couple, but I mean, this song, like, every time I hear it, even before Emily and I made it our song, it was like one of those that you just have to stop and listen to. And it's like one of the only things when I'm listening to it that is in my head when I'm listening to it. Like, I don't focus on anything
yeah,
else. It's one of those songs that it's just like, I feel like his voice mixed with like his piano accompaniment, I just thought it was perfect. And I don't see any part in the song that isn't perfect. So, number five, All of Me by John Legend.
which is a really interesting choice because the whole song is talking about loving somebody for their imperfections and that you don't have to be
Imperfections, yeah.
perfect, right? And
And
that's
that's
why I
why it's
like the song.
perfect.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
like the song so much. It's because you don't have to be perfect. You're perfect for me. And I
Yeah.
love you and just so it's such a great song. My number five, I pretty much could have picked any song by this band and it would have been on the list because they're like the probably, if not the greatest, two of the greatest songwriters in history. And I'm talking about, of course, McCartney and Lennon. My number five, Let It Be, the Beatles. It's just one of those songs that if it's on, I listen to it, I jam out to it. It's also on my list because you have to say it's a perfect song because it's the most covered song in history. It's the song that has been covered more than any other song in history. So people must like it and people must want to sing it. Therefore, it must be a perfect song because people don't want to cover your shit unless they like it. And the odd thing about it is that most people that do cover it don't change it. They don't put their own spin on it. They don't try to. They just sing it as is, and which is a very interesting. It says a lot about a song where you're like, no, I'm gonna have my voice to it, but I'm not gonna change how it sounds or what it is. And so that says a lot about like, no, Let It Be is Let It Be, and I'm just gonna sing it. And yeah, the Beatles, number five, Let It Be.
Oh, for sure, man. Great choice. Great choice. Number four for me goes to Michael Jackson's Beat It. I think it wasn't the first ever Michael Jackson song that I heard, but I mean, I think after he passed, it was probably the one I played the most. This one and Say, 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 which is funny enough with Paul McCartney from the Beatles. But I think Beat It is my favorite behind or in front of Billie Jean, just like by barely. But it's one of those that's like I don't know. The music video's great. Eddie Van Halen's great playing the guitar part, and like everything about it, I think just works so great. And I mean, it embodies what it means to be in the '80s and what it means to be like a big pop star. So yeah, I just that's one that anytime it's on, you have to play it. And I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's a great like motivational song. It's a great pump up song to get you in a better mood. So yeah, number 4 for me, Beat It by Michael Jackson.
My number four, it's another one of those where everybody sings it, everybody wants to sing it, and I think lyrically is what I'm attracted to it too, because the what the message is behind it, what it's trying to say. My number four is Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley, and it's another one of those just it tells a story. I like songs that tell stories, right? Like whether they're upbeat, whether they're sad, whether it's a love song or an in-your-face club song or what. If it's telling a story, that's what makes me gravitate to a song. And Hallelujah definitely tells a story. And so yeah, I mean, everybody's covered this shit. Like every type of genre artist has covered this song, so it's hard to say it's not a great song. Again, like I just, and I'm sure I tell people to listen to it, but everybody's heard it. Everybody's heard Hallelujah. I mean, it's a song that everybody knows, so it's like it has to be on the list. Number four, Hallelujah.
For sure, man, for sure. Number 3 for me goes to Lose Yourself by Eminem. Of course, the title track of 8 Mile, his loosely based film around his life. But I mean, this song, I think, especially in hip hop, it's almost a perfect song. Like, or it is a perfect song since I put it on my list. But if you go back and listen to the first rendition, it's so bad. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
But like when he finally found his flow with the beat and everything, it was really good, and it's obviously his best song of all time, most selling song of all time, which makes sense. But I mean, this is an anthem. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something going from rags to riches, and that's for everybody. And I mean, it's a great freaking song that I feel like maybe everyone who enjoys hip hop music knows the lyrics to. And I mean, you know, how many times have we rapped the words or made fun of or like said mom's spaghetti?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's one of the most like iconic lines ever. But yeah, number 3 for me, Lose Yourself by Eminem.
It's funny because our number threes kind of correlate with the same type thing. My number 3 is also an anthem, and it tells the story of his real life going from rags to riches. And it's also one hell of a fucking awesome film. But I'm talking about my number 3, Purple Rain by Prince. How perfect is this song? This fucking song brought the rain on cue at the fucking Super Bowl. That's how perfect this song is, right? I'm playing Purple Rain in the rain. Bam! Like it's the most epic Super Bowl performance ever. Nobody's ever gonna beat it. I'm sorry. Just keep bringing it. You keep trying every year. You are never going to be Prince playing Purple Rain while it's fucking raining. It's a huge rain song. You're never going to beat that. But this song, literally, though, it really is his anthem. It really is. And the movie was, too. It's a biopic. It's kind of like, this is his story. This is who he is. And he's an outsider. And he's not like because he's different. But he's got, you know, a story to tell, and he's gone through this kind of stuff. It's just an amazing, every time it's on, and I like the long version of it. There's a shorter version, but I like the long version of it. But it's just a beautiful song. He was a musical genius, and this song, you really see the genius in it, and it's hard. I rock out to this one constantly. I fucking love Purple Rain. Yeah, Purple Rain, Prince, and I highly recommend if you haven't watched the movie, watch the movie because it's a really fucking great movie too. And Prince is a really good actor. It's a fucking great actor in it. Like it's really so funny because Lose Yourself, Eminem acted in that film, and it's like they're telling their stories, they're acting in their real life stories. It's kind of like, it's interesting that we chose those two as our threes because they're very similar in nature. God damn, a collaboration between Prince and Eminem would have been badass, bro.
Right.
That would have been fucking badass because they're total
Agreed.
respect for each other, you know.
Oh,
and holy fuck, man, that shit, I wish that would have happened.
The what ifs of the world, man.
Yeah,
the what
man.
ifs of the world. My number 2 was actually the reason that I threw out this idea for this top 5 because I've been obsessed with this song recently, and I've actually been obsessed with the band a little bit, getting more into them.
Interesting.
Obviously, because of my wife. But I'm going with My Immortal by Evanescence. Oh my gosh, it's such a good song. I could play this song on repeat.
The best thing about
man.
Ben Affleck's Daredevil film.
For real. Like, I'm just saying. But I also have a tiny little bit of crush on Amy Lee right now. Emily knows it's fine, but it's like, especially the band version where it's like it's the slow the whole entire time, the piano very instrumental, but then you're like, oh yeah, this is Evanescence, and boom, like it just gets super hardcore rock for that last chorus line. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect, and like her voice is just amazing.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
honest about it. She's one of the best singers of all time, in my opinion. It was crazy because we looked up how they started their band. Amy Lee and I forget, I think it was one of the guitarists. They actually met when they were like barely teenagers at a Christian sleepaway camp, and they would play music together, and that's how they met. And they were like, we could really do something with this. And then boom, Evanescence was formed at a Christian sleepaway camp,
Yeah.
which
You
is
never
so
know.
funny. You never know. You never know. But if y'all have not listened to My Immortal band version, oh my gosh, please be sure to do yourself a favor and do so. It's
Yes.
so freaking great. Number two for me, My Immortal by Evanescence.
My number two is another great film by an extremely talented individual, and I put this one on the list. And I'm talking about the 10-minute version because it's the best version. But before the 10-minute version even existed, this was my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time, and she's got a ton of good ones. But All Too Well, and it has to have probably the single greatest line ever written in a song, in my opinion. When the line about I call you up again just to break you like a promise, casually cruel in the name of being honest. That is a fucking brilliant line. Because we've all been there. Whether we're the ones who did it or we were the victim of getting it, we've all, I'm just being honest because I feel it's the right thing to do. No, motherfucker, it's evil. You're hurting me. You're crushing me. Don't be honest. Give me a lie. Give me anything. So that line is just like, there's not a single person who's ever been in love who has not felt that line. Like, okay. And so, yeah, dude. And I just, again, it's a story. She's telling the story of how she was wronged and how she like still feels that shit. Even though she's well moved on, she still feels that shit. And so, but yeah, that song, every time I hear that song and that line, I just get fired up. Now there's a club version out of it. And like the
Yeah.
club version's even more powerful. It's like, call me out to the, oh, I was just like, fuck, man. But yeah, my number two, All Too Well by Taylor Swift. What a great fucking song, man. It's so good.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. My number one is probably my favorite song of all time. I love it. I wanted it to be the dance at the wedding, the first dance at the wedding, but it's kind of, that would be a weird first dance. But it's one of my all-time favorites. It's such a perfect song that the chorus doesn't start until exactly 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the song. I've known this for years. Such a weird fact, but I'm talking about Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
Yes.
I love this song. The slow build up to the amazing crescendo that is his voice. I mean, of course, his voice has changed, but it's still an amazing song. It's still really cool to see him perform it. I love this song way before Almost Famous, because I know that exposed the song to a lot of younger audiences. It's one of those that it's just it tells such a beautiful story, and you can see it in your head when you're listening to it. And that's really what I'm looking for with music and like video games and obviously movies and television. The interpretation of different things to where you can imagine it in your head and start conversations.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I love this song so much. Number one for me, Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
There you go. My number one had to be on the list. No way it wasn't on the list. Written by the extraordinarily talented Dolly Parton, but my version is Whitney Houston. I Will Always Love You. I don't even have to say anything about this song, honestly. It's the love anthem of all time. If you have ever been in love with anybody, this song hits you. And it hits you hard. And it's like you will do anything for the person you're in love with, even walking away from them, if that's what makes them happy, if that's what's best. This song, it's just the Kevin Costner fucking suggestion to go a cappella at the beginning of it before the music hits, fucking brilliant. It's like, and when she hits it, dude, when she hits it, Nobody matches her. You just think of the national anthem when she fucking belted it out. This song, when she hits that note and just boom, man, I just nobody's ever gonna fucking match that in my book. It's her vocals at that are like literally perfect. They're literally perfect vocals when she hits that, and it's just like, yeah. Yeah, and that, I mean, Dolly Parton will tell you how perfect that song is because she's made millions off of it from from Whitney's version of it. So, yeah, man, just my number one, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. What a tragic loss that was, man.
For sure, man. For sure. What if she just? It would have been funny if that song popped up in Horizon American Saga. Maybe it would have sold more money.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But anyway, guys, we want to know what's your definition of a perfect song. Be sure to comment below your perfect song on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the good places. We want to know. We love the fan interaction. TikTok, TokTik. Please be sure to comment below.
Yeah.